Hello, my name is Julian Cargiadis, and this is going to be my first video response for the Reflection 1. For the first question about how the development of agriculture transformed human societies, uh, I believe it transformed a ton. It really switched us from being more of like a hunter-gatherer to actually being able to settle down in places and stop being as much nomadic. My reference from the History of Food Part 1 was the Hadzabe tribe, and they're like one of the only hunter-gatherer civilizations that are really remaining in the world today. And it kind of shows how most of the world has shifted to sort of a more agriculture-based society in general. And we didn't have to go out every day and find food, so we kind of gained like a more reliable food source. The seasons we could plant our crops for the season, store our crops for the off season, and then that kind of leads us into constraints and opportunities that are opened up through agriculture. I feel like in terms of limitations, there's not really like a crazy amount of them. But the one big one is there kind of becomes a reliance on your seasonal crops. So if you have like a bad season, the off season, which is usually the winter, becomes really rough for people when you don't have enough food stored. Like at this point, that's not as much of an issue, but when agriculture was first becoming a more widespread thing, they really had to worry about just like sort of storing enough food for winter so that they can make it through the winter. And if you don't have any hunter-gatherer knowledge, then there's not really much to fall back on if you have a bad crop season. And then in terms of opportunities, I feel like it transformed society completely and brought a lot of opportunities. Obviously we don't have to move around to find food, like I said, answering the first question. But then again, in page 25 of the textbook, it mentioned how pastoral traditions kind of arose along with the agriculture. So that meant on top of our crops being more reliable and accessible without having to move around, so did our protein sources and our meat, because livestock became a lot more accessible as well. And then to answer the third part of the question, I feel like I see a lot of similarity in the food that's eaten around the world, but mainly a lot more diversity in the way that the foods are prepared. So I'll cite the second History of Food video, The Agricultural Revolution, at the 7-minute 30-second mark. They talk a lot about how rice becomes or is currently the primary staple for over half of the world's population. And that was one of the things that I really see a lot in the world today. Like a lot of the ingredients, things like chicken, rice, I guess pork in a lot of parts of the world, like cow meat, stuff like that. Those are used in many, many different kinds of cuisine, but a lot of different cuisines will, like prepare them different ways. And you see a lot of diversity in what they're seasoned with, what they're served with, like what kind of sides they're served with and stuff like that. So I feel like there's a lot of diversity and a lot of similarity at the same time. And those were my answers to the question. Thank you.